Larry, this is Fab.
Hey, Larry, what's going on?
Sitting here watching the sunset. Wait. Sort of. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
What are you guys?
Boston?
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Well, the Boston Herald is located,
Oh, you're at the Herald. You're at your office.
I'm at the office, yeah.
All right, so you're in a big building or a small building?
It's 2 stories, you know.
All right.
Downtown. Where are you?
I'm sitting in the production office of a place called the State Theater in Detroit.
Oh, you're in Detroit today, huh?
Yeah.
So you guys have already started the tour?
Yeah, we've been 4 shows in, I believe.
Cool. So, and how's that feeling?
It's great, man. I'm glad to be back.
Good.
It's fun to share this stuff with people who respond to it. You know what I mean?
Well, you got a lot of people all excited that the new record is coming out, I guess, in about a week and a half. Now, does that, with the record about to meet the people who are interested in, is that something that makes you apprehensive or worried, or do you feel really confident that you've done something good?
I'm pretty happy about everything that we've done, you know. We went into the studio with a little bit of, like, the sophomore pressure. We wanted to make a good record for ourselves. We wanted to feel good about it. We didn't really invest too much thought in, like, you know, what the critical or the critic's perception would be. And so, I don't know, it became like sort of like this focused thing on developing the band and disciplining ourselves in a certain way, and it seemed to work out all right. And now it's just like, I don't really think about it. I'm excited about like the record hitting stores and people listening to it, but it's not nerves. It's not nervousness, you know.
When I mean, because of the terrific reaction you got to the first album, and people, you know, and suddenly you're a big deal and all of that, was the feeling as far as going in to make the second album one of eagerness, or did it suddenly seem like, oh shit, you know, now we got to really deliver something good and this is a little bit intimidating?
No, it was definitely eagerness. It was, like I said, you know, we didn't, we were never really tied into that whole, you know, like magazine, press type of hype thing. And so being as how we never really invested too much thought into that, like coming out of it and then like the second run wasn't too difficult, you know. The pressure was more internal. It was more like us wanting to make a really good second record according to our own terms, and sort of I don't know, you know, progressing as a band. That was where the pressure was really inset.
Do you think that it was harder on Julian than anyone, given that he was writing the songs?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think he has a very objective view on what he likes, on what, like, he writes a lot of things, and he's very objective about, you know, what he's written, and he knows when something is good and can move forward, and he knows when something is bad and needs to be thrown away. And I'm sure he felt like he had a certain responsibility, but I think he was very focused, and he never sidestepped from that at all.
Does he look to you and the other guys in the band to also tell him whether a song is working or not?
Absolutely, yeah. Once he brings something to the studio for arrangement, it's a very democratic type of situation.
Do you think that though, when you do have the eyes of the world on you and waiting for what you're going to come up with, doesn't that make it harder in some sort of way? I mean, it must have been a lot different, the circumstances this time going in to make the record than when you went in to make the first one.
Yeah, I mean, the situation... You know what, the funny thing is, the vibe was pretty much preserved, you know? Like, we felt the same. Our relationships didn't change at all. The dynamics of the band didn't change. The setting changed. The number of people that were in the studio might have shifted a little bit by one or two people. But other than that, it was pretty much straightforward, same kind of vibe as the first record. And it was a lot of fun. Of course, the songs were different, so there were a bunch of different, like, I don't know, the decision-making process was, I mean, as different as it can be, you know, when it comes to writing new music. But, like, the vibe and the feel was pretty much the same.
Did you have any talks before you started working on the record about how you were, you know, what you wanted it to be musically, like, you know, whether or not to sort of try to do again what you did on the first one in a certain sense, or did you know, or to try to like do something different this time? Or
it happened much more organically. It was, we focus on the songs specifically. We don't think of it as like I mean, we know that we have a certain number of songs that we have to write to compile an album, but we don't think we look very specifically at the song, and one has to be just as good as the other, and like, you know, so on. So the focus wasn't on the completion of the album as a whole. It was more like the completion of each specific song, each individual track, make it as good as we can possibly make it. And at the end of the day, or at the end of the session, I guess, you know, the songs that we had recorded fit together in a certain way, just because we had never lost sight of the fact that each song has to stand on its own.
I know we had heard that there was a time that you guys were thinking of changing producers and working with that Nigel from Radiohead. Tell me what was that about?
It was a trial period that we wanted to. I mean, we knew that to be able to progress and know that we were progressing, we had to try a bunch of different options. And one of them was maybe working with another producer and seeing how that felt. And in the trial period, we knew very well that it was a trial period. We had established that both parties knew, you know, the Strokes and Nigel, knew that we were just there to have some fun and try to see where it would get us. We played a hell of a lot of poker together, and we talked a lot. I feel like we learned a lot about each other, and he helped us even, like, in several different ways, how to address the song and so forth. And it turned out to be a great learning experience, but he's got a very specific way of working, which is great. And we went our separate ways, like, very, like, friendly, and we had there was no tension or anything like that. I guess we just understood that we were two different types of musical vias, you know. And we had to sort of go back to the roots and work with Gordon again.
Do you think that what Gordon does in the studio is something that is important to the Strokes sound?
Absolutely.
And so is, and I assume he didn't have he wasn't feeling, you didn't hurt his feelings when you had this flirtation with Nigel?
No, not at all. He knew that we were going to do it. He's a very beautiful person. very open-minded, and he has no. If he has an ego, it's barely perceptible. You know, and so he was like, yeah, go ahead, do it, see what you can do. You know, I'll be here if you guys need me at any stage. So we sort of had his blessings.
I think, when I got my copy of the CD and before I put it on, I was kind of, you have this anticipation, like, well, is it going to be something that I liked as much as the first record, or maybe these guys went off into some different place and I'm going to be disappointed. You kind of get nervous when you like what a band did the first time out, and when I played it, I think I guess I had the feeling that what I really liked about it was that your identity really came through, and I said, what's cool about this is that it's a real Strokes record, and it's not the same as what they did before, but they didn't just like lose themselves and go off somewhere completely different. And I guess what I'm saying is it sounded like you found a way to build on what you had and to build on your strengths.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Well, is that something which, do you think you're a better band now than you were when you made the first record?
There's no question about that. Experience in anything that you do, whether it's music, art, whether you're a businessman, I don't know. It shows if you harness it properly, and you're wary of the fact, or you're aware of the fact that it's 2 years later, and you have to be conscious of what you've learned in the past.
You got some guitar sounds on the album, which when you first hear them, it sounds like some crazy synthesizers going on. But there are no keyboards on it?
Nope. They're all guitars. Guitars with their tones turned very, very low.
So, and that's all going to be stuff that you'll be able to do, or that you're doing now on tour?
Yeah. We reproduce the album live as authentically as we can. Did anyone come and say, hey, you can't put out a 33-minute CD, you got to put more songs on this thing? Has someone ever said that to us?
Yeah.
Not yet. The album's not out, pal.
Tell me, when you guys, tell me, I know that you and Julian and Nick, I think, knew each other back when you were going to high school. When did you first actually start making music together?
Oh, back then. When I first started to get to know these guys, it was pretty much through music.
So what they were looking...
We were all learning our respective instruments pretty much together. Except for Nick. Nick had been playing for a while. But Julian and I learned how to play our instruments relatively at the same time.
And was that something that was going on at school, or would you get together after school?
After school program, yeah, definitely.
After school, actually at a school, or an informal after-school program?
Let's just say that it was our own personal extracurricular activity.
And so did you guys form a band right off, or is that something that took a while before it happened?
Well, no, we formed a band in the sense that, we always played together and we were pretty loyal to each other. And we liked to play each other's songs and stuff, but there was nothing like us going out and playing shows, And I think we played one show as a three-piece, and it was at a Christmas party or a New Year's party at Nick's house.
So how old were you when you think...
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. Maybe another question?
Okay.
Thank you.
And when you did, put the band together and the five of you were there, did you have a concept in mind of what it was you were trying to sound like? Did you look...
No, I think that if you try to like set out a blueprint and not let it happen organically. You might shoot yourself in the foot. It might sound contrived. You might, you know, the best way to be a band is sort of like devote yourself to the music, and then everything will fall into place, you know. And we weren't like thinking like this is the sound we wanted. It's more like once we had written some songs and realized that they sucked, then we tried a different way, different route.
There you are, people are hearing you kind of as a descendants of the New York punk rock scene in some sort of way. Was that something that was an influence on you, and did you go back and study your rock history?
I mean, we didn't go and read textbooks and put on CDs for a certain amount of time and try to like name the tune, but the music that we liked, and there was a lot more than just the New York City kind of music scene. There's a hell of a lot more, but that's definitely part of it. You can't deny it.
Well, hey, man, thanks a lot for taking the time today to talk, and see you when you get to Boston. Or I guess you're going to be playing Lowell when you get up here, but that's not too far away.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, take care, man.
Be safe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.